RHOBH Teddi Mellencamp reveals hurtful deleted scene. When it comes to filming RHOBH, there's always going to be scenes that producers cut from episodes to save time. Teddi Mellencamp just revealed that there was a certain scene with her husband Edwin RHOBH that was deleted. According to the housewife, it was a traumatic moment she'll never forget. Read on to find out what happened. Teddi Mellencamp hates this deleted scene. Teddi recently revealed that there was a scene with her partner Edwin that she is so glad never made it on air. The scene started off with the two discussing whether or not they wanted to have more children. It was during the conversation that RHOBH asked her if she would be okay being pregnant because that would make her big. This was triggering for Teddi, and she wasted no time letting her husband know that this weight comment was offensive. "I am disgusted that you said that. I'm furious that you said that. You embarrassed me, you hurt me," she yelled at Edwin. Mellencamp didn't reveal what season this scene was supposed to be included in. If it had aired, it would have raised hairs toward Edwin for his weight comment and Teddi for her screaming behavior. Their roller coaster relationship. This unaired conversation isn't the first time that Teddi and Edwin had a falling out. Throughout their 13-year marriage, the two have gone through some ups and downs. In fact, Teddi revealed last year that it was during their first season of RHOBH that they almost got divorced. Mellencamp explained that it didn't have anything to do with the reality TV show and more so about their personal lives. She was used to being the sole financial provider of herself, following her divorce from Matt Robertson in 2009. The housewife had a hard time adapting to Edwin being in charge of their monetary decisions. Eventually, she learned to allow her husband to have more of a say in their household and be equals in their relationship. The happy couple have gone on to have 3 kids and seem to have a good grasp on their roles. Do RHOBH fans like Teddi? Just because the scene where she screamed at her husband didn't air, doesn't mean that all of Teddi's on-screen moments have painted her in a good light. Most viewers have consistently agreed that throughout the seasons, Mellencamp is not one of their favorite cast members. I rank her as the worst housewife ever. It's wild how progressively annoying she is. She is so dull. Teddi Mellencamp sat down in front of the camera, her expression a mixture of frustration and hurt. It wasn't often that she felt the need to speak out about things that happened behind the scenes of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but this time she couldn't hold her tongue. "There was a scene that never aired," she began, exhaling sharply. "A scene that, had it made the final cut, would have completely changed the way people saw this season. And honestly, it would have changed how they saw me." Teddi had been here before, feeling like an outsider among the women who had once been her friends. She knew what it was like to be the scapegoat, to be accused of stirring the pot, to be dismissed as boring by viewers who didn't understand the full story. But this was different. This was personal. The scene in question had been filmed late into the season, during a group dinner at a chic rooftop restaurant in Beverly Hills. The night had started off civil, with wine glasses clinking and laughter floating into the warm California air. But as was always the case with this group, the pleasantries didn't last long. It had started when Dorit Kemsley, always one to bring the dramatics, casually mentioned something Teddi had supposedly said about Kyle Richards. "I just find it funny, Teddi," Dorit had purred, swirling her wine, "that you always claim to be so loyal to Kyle, and yet I heard from someone that you were actually questioning your friendship with her the other night." Teddi had blinked, her mind racing. "That's not true," she had said firmly. "Who told you that?" Dorit had smirked. "Let's just say, a little birdie." The conversation had quickly escalated, with Teddi defending herself, Kyle jumping in, and Lisa Rinna, never one to miss an opportunity to stir things up, egging everyone on. But the real moment, the moment that should have made it to air, had come when Erika Jayne had turned to Teddi with an icy glare. "You always act like the victim, Teddi," Erika had said sharply. "Like, oh poor me, everyone is coming after me. But let's be real. You're not some innocent bystander in all this. You play the game just like the rest of us." The words had hit Teddi like a slap. She had opened her mouth to defend herself, But then, shockingly, it was Sutton Strack who had stepped in. "Hold on," Sutton had said, looking around the table. "We're really going to sit here and pretend that Teddy's the only one who's ever questioned a friendship? That none of y'all have ever wondered where you stand with someone in this group? Come on." That had been the moment. The moment when Teddi had felt seen. The moment when the narrative had shifted, if only for a second. And yet, when the episode had aired weeks later, the scene was gone. Completely wiped from existence. Instead, the episode had been edited to make it look like Teddi had overreacted, like she had gone on the defensive for no reason. The audience never got to see Sutton's support, never got to see Erica's harsh words, never got to see the way the entire conversation had truly unfolded. Teddi had been livid when she realized what had happened. She knew reality TV was edited for drama, but this felt deliberate. This felt like someone had made the conscious decision to erase her truth. "I get it," she said now, her voice tight. "I get that producers have a story to tell, and sometimes that means cutting things that don't fit the narrative. But this wasn't just cutting filler. This was cutting something that would have changed the way people understood my side of things." She paused, glancing at her phone, where notifications were already rolling in from fans speculating about what she was about to reveal. She knew speaking out like this might not sit well with Bravo, that it might even ruffle feathers among her former castmates. But she had stayed silent for too long. The worst part of it all, Teddi thought, was knowing that certain people in the group had probably wanted this scene cut. Some of them thrived on her being the easy target, the one everyone could gang up on when the drama needed a new focal point. And while she had always considered herself tough, always prided herself on bouncing back, this time it felt different. This time she wasn't sure she could just brush it off. She thought about Kyle, her supposed closest friend in the group, and wondered if she had even fought for the scene to stay in. She thought about Erica and Dorrit, and whether they had breathed a sigh of relief, knowing their parts in the mess had been erased. She thought about Sutton, the one person who had stood up for her, and how it had all been for nothing because no one would ever know. "I'm not saying I was perfect," Teddi admitted. "I know I've made mistakes. I know I've gotten caught up in drama. But I also know that if people had seen that scene, they would have had a much clearer picture of what really happened." As she sat there, debating whether to say more, her phone buzzed with an incoming text. It was from an anonymous source, someone within the production team who had seen the raw footage and wanted her to know they had fought to keep the scene in. But in the end, someone higher up had decided against it. Teddi clenched her jaw. It was frustrating, knowing that in the world of reality TV, the truth could be so easily manipulated. But if there was one thing she had learned, it was that sometimes you had to create your own narrative. If Bravo wasn't going to show the full story, then she would tell it herself. And maybe, just maybe, people would finally see her for who she really was.